Morning, excuse me. It is indeed nighttime here in Bahrain, which is going to be exciting. But I mean, I'm still jet lagged, so that would explain why I say good morning. For me, it is still too early in the morning, but we are here with coffee. We're here with drinks. We're here for an exciting race. Well, going over, this is season two of thermal racing. So season one had a quite exciting finish. We had Owen, who's in the Twitch chat, came in first place in the Mercedes, followed by Maddie as well. Maddie the man in Mercedes as well, followed by Adezi, Ledge Magma, Jesper, Engineer, Evo, Hasar Vizsla, Brand, Battlemind, rounding out your top 10. It was an exciting season, but I mean, season two is always more exciting, don't you think?
Oh, for sure. I'm surprised Desi was back there. So there's some certainly really quick lads out here. And they're all nervous because they're all sitting in the pit lane right now. Nobody eager to go out in this qualifying session. 15 minutes to go. I need to follow this, by the way, too. I haven't even followed this channel. Come on, guys. I thought I had. It must have been one of my old
Indeed.
accounts.
I mean, we have been sitting here in qualifying for about, I don't want to say 3 minutes, but I mean maybe they're just all planning. Maybe they're waiting for the first person to go, getting all their tires and their strategies ready. I mean, we do see a few people swapping off to the mediums. We have Kenneth and Engineer, but we finally have our first out from Maddie. He is heading out onto the track, and I mean, I'm quite excited to see how fast these men can go, as we also see Daniel making their outlap after that 15-minute mark, and that is probably what we're waiting for. But we are going to see some exciting things. We're seeing a few mediums and a lot of softs. I'm expecting very good times, and honestly, I'm ready for anything.
15 minutes, 15 corners. They come down to now 14 minutes and change. And now they are coming out on track for the very first time this season. Exactly, my friend. Exactly with you, Aiden. Looking forward to see what's going to happen. This track also produces some fantastic overtaking down this very straight that we can see right now from the Alpha. The AlphaTauri. So that's down from 10 all the way down to 11. You can see it's a DRS straight, obviously. The back straight, obviously. There's a lot of different places you get the job done around here.
There certainly are. With 15 turns, that gives you plenty of time to try to get that inside line or just go wild, go outside the outline. But also, we do have 3 DRS zones, which is a bit surprising. But I mean, that's Bahrain for you, especially because it's going to be, for the most part, pretty dry as far as the weather is concerned, meaning that all of the grip is going to be in those tires. We're going to see a lot of different strategies coming out, especially because it's getting close to about half those drivers on the mediums, half are on the softs just about. But plenty of places for overtaking and so many opportunities to grab that DRS, scoot ahead. You are always getting more time with DRS. Like, you are going just naturally faster because you don't have to worry about that back wing stopping you, providing more downforce. But with it open, it gives you a whole lot more speed.
Guys in the Twitch chat as well, please give us your early predictions for the qualifying. You would think who's going to be the on the top step of the qualifying, top 3 at least, ready for the race. DRS zone's huge, powerful activation tool as we're on board right now with A2B. Eddie, I think it is, as he's one of the first drivers around here to put it in a hot lap. So far, so good. Obviously, he's got a lot of time board with those purples because it's the first one around here. Track temperature's 29, air is 23. No rain in sight, only sweat.
And indeed, Maddie is making his way through that DRS detection zone, heading into the final turn, making his way around there as he passes somebody else. Obviously getting out of his way, but he crosses the line with a 128.0, which is an extraordinary time. We do have a lot of other drivers who are going to try to place that, but for the most part, I think Maddie's pretty excited as Daniel comes in with a 127.3. This man is full of speed. Maddie, first one out. Daniel, second one, and Daniel already knows exactly where to come in with the speed. Easily clear 7/10 ahead of Daniel, which is exciting. These are such fast drivers, as we have another 128.2 coming out from Kyle Hedeman. Man, and a 125 from Dark Soul. These guys are so fast.
Yeah, he's got to just keep an eye on that McLaren because He was lighting up the timing boards a lot earlier than these other lads were, and I was like, okay, yeah, obviously good times already. Best time so far, that 125. We're going to see that drop. Look at this as well. I think go back to down to P10 at the moment, and that will be the Williams. I keep forgetting, could be a Red Bull because it's red there, but it's also the new Williams livery, obviously. And he's going even quicker than everybody else at the moment.
We are indeed seeing a lot of fast times come out on this track, and honestly, I am excited to see, because I mean, every single time there was a quick yellow flag in Sector 1 and Sector 3, but they both just about cleared up. But I mean, we're already starting to see these drivers showing what kind of class that they show up in. We are seeing a few with the 125s. We're seeing a 126 coming out close to the window with the 127, followed by Daniel, which is set before. But we also see a bunch of 128s who, keep in mind, are about 2/10 off between P5 and P8. These racers also are putting out their first lap, so they're getting warmed up. They're getting their tires ready. They're making sure that everything looks good on their cars. We're going to start seeing a lot of these drivers who aren't happy with that 128 start coming out, putting faster times on the board, and showing them that they can also potentially get a 125 and show up as that pole position once we actually start the race.
The nerves are a bit jittery. Just saw some impressive times there from that driver, but he's invalidated, unfortunately, which is what you'll see the drivers pushing the track limits. Nothing's changed since last season. Those boundaries are still there. You will get set to the naughty corner from the FIA stewards if you do push those track limits. So during qualifying, well, bang, your lap is invalidated, and during the race, you're going to get those 3-second penalties that will start racking up. That's Arcady going into P4.
And that is a solid P4. He is about a 10th, not even that. He's about 300ths behind P3. So I imagine these drivers, even though that this is the first race, this is the first qualifying, they're still coming out and showing how much speed that they can put on that timing board and try to beat Dark Salt's time of 125.6, who's now relaxing in the pits. He's just decided, you know what? I think I'm good. I'm going to watch what everybody else can do as they put more laps on those tires, getting them warmed up, but also making them a little bit older when we actually go to the race itself.
It's completely right there, Jeff. I mean, Aiden, Jeff. One way or the other. You got to your understanding there at there. That's a little quiet too, so I hope you guys out there aren't too nervous to let us know. We don't bite too much. Just trying to see whether in the weeds does bite that car around the track. He's just getting ready to set his first time this evening in that new Haas livery.
And honestly, those Haas, I love the white and red that they've come out with. Honestly, a very gorgeous car. Pickles, what's your favorite car livery so far that they've come out with in 2021?
Well, mate, my favorite color is green, so I have to go with the Aston Martin, of course.
Aston Martin is quite solid. I'm a big fan of McLaren as it stands. And we see Into Weeds is making his way towards that DRS detection zone. He is rocking on that time. He's going to hit those last two corners and see where he places. But the question is he happy with those times? He could be as he comes in, hits that DRS. It looks like he doesn't hit the DRS at all, so he slows down a little bit. Comes in with a 130.6. Potentially laying up for another lap. I'm not thinking he's going to be happy with those, but keep in mind he is on the medium, so he's already losing a little bit of time compared to the other drivers. But we do have two other drivers, Ledge Magma with a 126 and Maddie with a 128 on those mediums. So it's possible to get up there as he's making his way through. Already hit the second DRS zone out of that straightaway, and it looks like there is a car who's stopped right beside him.
Yeah, I just switched over to the Ferrari drive. Kenneth jumped all the way up at a P3 there. One of the only lads there to break him within the 1 second marker of the Dark Salt. So it's Dark Salt's blistering time. Oh, good. Down to P13 at the moment. So we know that this Williams driver has some serious pace. He did before, but he invalidated that lap. Now he's on for another one. And that's Phony. Can't pronounce his name. Phony? You're going to help me out that one, Aiden. But yeah. Quickest man, sector one.
I'm probably just going to call him Foe, but he is definitely blistering on this lap. He did invalidate the last one, which probably made him kind of bite his teeth a little bit, as we do see a little bit of a wide outside on there from the car in front of him. But as you can also see, a lot of the cars who pitted earlier, Dark Salt, for example, a lot of those drivers, as Foe is making his way through, what time is he going to place? He picks up that DRS, and he comes in P2 with a 125.8. This is why Dark Salt made his way out of the pits going for that outlap, because he knows that these other cars are picking up speed, picking up the pace, and they're challenging him for that P1 time. Foe is 0.2 of a second off of Dark Salt's time. He is looking for that pole position. He's going to fight for it as he keeps going. And he is not looking like he's slowing down the pace at all. He's trying to push more, trying to get that P1, trying to take it away from Dark Salt. But Dark Salt also is not going to give that up so easily.
Phoenix in the Twitch chat is what we should call him from now on. So the man in P2 that did challenge to Dark Salt is now trying again, but he's a little bit slower than this man we're on board with, MRL Crampy. Welcome along to this first season, and he's got some pace. Purple 1, purple sector 2. If he hooked this one up without invalidating, he could steal this one away from McLaren.
And it does indeed look like he stays on. He picks up that DRS, and he is going to place a 125.4. So Phoenix, who already thought that he was going to be right in that window, he is still out there. He is going to have to fight now with Crampy, who came in with a 125.4, beating out Dark Salt for that pole position, and he is going to be pretty happy with that one. But he's still pushing it, still putting out that DRS. It looks like he's going a little bit slow. Maybe he's going to try to see what Phoenix comes out with, as Phoenix comes out with a 125.5. So Dark Salt knew that he was going to get beat, which is why he came out on track, because these two drivers already placed 0.2 and 0.1 ahead of Dark Souls, who was originally the P1. They're now on it. They're in it to win it. But Crampy did invalidate this lap, so he's going to be looking, maybe he's pretty solid with that, but he's going to have to see what Phoenix does to see what kind of competition. Is he going to stay out? Is he going to keep trying, keep putting out more time? Or is he going to say, you know what, I think a 125.4 is good enough. I'm going to see what happens with Phoenix, because Phoenix could do it, as Dark Soul also comes out with 125.54. That is 500ths faster than Phoenix. Phoenix is not going to be happy about that.
Dark Soul 78 thousandths of a second slower than Crampy's. So he's responded, but his first sector is where he's lost the time. He needs to get on with this. They've all switched over to their softs mainly, apart from Ledge down there in P7. He may be very well looking on a better strategy to start the race with, but at the moment, definitely game on. The soft tires are what you need to do to pull in these times. They've all come down, and we're seeing at the moment about a 2-second gap between P1 and P11.
And as Dark Soul, he is still out there, still trying to put as much time. Crampy went into the pits. He's going to call that one good for now with 3 minutes left in qualifying, 3.5. Dark Soul and Phoenix are still out there, still trying to put as much time as they can. We're seeing a very competitive battle here for that P1 position, or at least getting on that first row. As D'Alejandro does retire from the session, we're going to find out what's going on with him. But
outside of turn 11, we just saw it on from Dark Soul. That car was binned it out of turn 11. We'll not be seeing any qualifying. A lot of work for the team to go. That car is off, I think, in turn 7 as well.
There is indeed. I mean, this is the thing about all of these fun and exciting new games, is you have to get used to driving on the track, getting used to the new kind of engines in the body that they've come out with, because it's always going to be a change going from one car to another. You always have to be ready for the changes, put in the practice, make sure that you are solid on that track, so that one, you don't damage the car, and two, you can still put out good times, as we're seeing a lot of drivers are rocking that 125, 126 range.
Times. I started thinking of the song in my head real quickly there. And if we're seeing another driver retire from the session, I believe that's Arkitty, the Red Bull. Lost it in 10-7. Show you on the screen. So yeah, nerves are racking up. They're pushing the cars to the absolute limit here for the first time this season. And who can challenge? I have to say Crampy and Dark Soul, and maybe Phoenix there, as they're super close at the front of the business end of the time tables.
And we are starting to see a lot of drivers head into the pits calling it good with their times, but the ones who is still to watch out for is Desi, who came in P4, but he's not too far behind the top three. He's rocking a 126.0. As he comes in, he's going to grab that DRS protection zone. He's warming up his tires a little bit. Keep in mind, they are still fresh. He's going to pass that on his out lap, and he's still going to be able to put time out. So all these other drivers who have pitted are going to see, you know what? There's still some people out on track. There's still some people putting out times. Is it time for me to go back out? And it looks like Crampy's also heading on an out lap. He's going to try to get within that time so that he can place another lap. But it looks like Desi's got the speed in his pocket.
Desi's time to shine. He has the pace. I've seen this man in multiple leagues. Bring it when it needs to be done. Time is now. Will not get another lap in, especially not on the softs to do 2 runs. This is it, first sector, 27.6. It's a 27.4 that he needs, so he's already 2/10 down. A lot of work to make up, but if anybody can do it, this man can.
This man indeed is the one as he makes his way around that hairpin turn. He had a very solid entry and exit out of there. We are still seeing a few other drivers are coming out of the pits going for their outlaps as Desi. He's close to clipping that sign, but he's still on the track. So that is good. He is fighting his way through it. He is blistering through all these turns. There's a yellow flag in Sector 1, but for Desi, he doesn't have to worry about that at all as he heads for the straightaway. He's going to put the pedal to the metal, hit that speed as high as possible through the DRS zone, make his way around that final turn. There's the 1, there's the 2, straighten out. He's going to hit that DRS zone, blast through the time, and he comes in with... It's so close. Oh, unfortunately, he didn't improve his time at all. He's still 125. Actually, he did improve. He's a 125.6, but Phoenix, Dark Soul, and Crampy, who are P3, P2, and P1, are just about a 10th or 2/10 faster. So this man improved his time by 4/10. But for these other drivers, they had enough of a window that they didn't have to worry about trying to fight through that time because, I mean, Desi's still a little bit slower. He's not that significantly slower, but just not enough to break through that gap.
And Crampy has invalidated his lap, so he can't respond, I believe, anymore. The man that can respond will be Mr. Dark Soul in P2. Let's see on his out lap now. Trying to get that top step. You want it, don't you? You want to be on pole. You want to set this statement down to all these other 16 drivers in the first race of the season saying, I am the quickest man around Bahrain qualifying.
And Bahrain is always an exciting one. Keep in mind, it is nighttime, but it is still as bright as day out here with all of these lights that they have set up on track. As Dark Soul hits the DRS zone, there is one car in front of him, but they slow down and let him pass because Dark Soul is still going to fight for that P1 position. He's going to get on the pole as hard as he can. He wants it. He's going to fight for it. And he is blistering through all these turns. He is putting the pedal to the metal, showing that he is the man with the speed. He's got about a 10th, less than a 10th, about, what was that, 78 thousandths to beat for Crampy. So he's within the window as he makes his way around that final turn. He's going to pick up the DRS, and he is going to be praying that his car can make it. It comes in with a 125.4. He is 61 thousandths ahead of Crampy. This man has the speed and knows, unfortunately, Crampy, he invalidated his lap, and he's going to be eating that. He is not going to be happy at all that Dark Soul came in on that final lap in qualifying to steal it away.
Yes, I was about to say, his middle sector was like, that's, something you would not want to put on your resume. But I tell you what, the third sector is what you do want to put on your resume. Annihilated it, hence the reason why he has got pole.
And Crampy once again spun out and invalidated his lap. He is driving backwards. There are still a lot of people out here still trying to improve their times. And I mean, everybody switched to the softs, so we're going to see a lot of potentially softs coming out at the start of the race. There is one medium who came out, but I think we're going to see a lot of softs come out, to be quite honest.
Maddie out there in the Twitch chat said, oops, he's not in P11. He's trying to see where you are down there, Maddie, as that will be pretty much it for most of the qualifying session. Just trying to see at the moment whether or not Daniel in the Haas can improve his personal bests there. Not going to be looking at on the top step of the qualifying, but certainly going to try to move his car up a little bit further into the field here. Perhaps try to steal a P5 away from the Ferrari, or perhaps the Ferrari-powered Alfa Romeo. House driver's going to be looking for just this final corner and down the main and straight. Let's see what he can improve or not. Won't actually. Going for that P7.
Ooh, and that is quite unfortunate. But here we go. We are heading out of qualifying with Dark Soul taking P1, followed by Crampy, who had a quite honestly an impressive battle with both Dark Soul and Phoenix, who's in P3, followed by Desi, Kenneth, CJ Barry, Daniel, and Ledge Magma. We also have those who kind of decided, you know what, I'm going to save some time. Ari Kitty, Maddie, Kyle, and Dalejandro all kind of exited early out of qualifying. But we're going to see a lot of exciting driving coming out in this season 2. I'm honestly impressed by all the times that we put out and the exciting battles between all of them going out.
They have been very impressive. The FIA has requested that they leave those braking boards alone. I'd say turn them into concrete and not foam, and they will. I'd like to read through those results for us, please, Ed.
I certainly can. You have Dark Soul in P1, followed by Crampy, Phoenix, Desi, Kenneth, CJ Barry, Daniel, Ledge Magma, Ari Kitty, and Maddie rounding out your top 10. All impressive times from 125 to 127, followed by Kyle Heedman. And we have everybody else who we're actually going to see on the track in just a second as we come out into Bahrain for the round 1 opening of season 2 for Thermal Formula 1.
Here's the intro. Don't go anywhere. Well, how's that for an absolutely cracking introduction video? Welcome along to the first race of the Thermal F1 Racing Season 2, Round 1, Bahrain. Aiden got through that video just in time as the drivers are under their formation lap. Get
It
ready.
was indeed quite close. We are here in Bahrain for Thermal Formula One Racing. Round one of season 2 in first. We have Dark Soul in the McLaren, followed by Crampy, Phoenix, Adesi, Kenneth, CJ Berry, Daniel. We have Ledge Magma, Eric Kitty, Maddie rounding out your P10. We have Kyle Heedman, D'Alejandro, Vesley, and Dellum rounding out P14. In the last two, we have Indoweeds and Engineer. We're going to see some exciting races. Half the racers are in softs, half of them are in mediums as they all line up. Ladies and gentlemen, here is your first race. We are ready for lights out, and away we go. And maybe not. A little bit slow on the start there. Always a fun time. We have Dark Soul taking off, but close behind is Cramp, who actually comes in first. He sneaks through as they make their way through. Is there any kind of damage going on? I'm not seeing anything. It is a very clean start to the race. We have Crampy off and away ahead of Dark Soul. Not far behind Dark Soul is Adesi, who's looking to get that pass on him. Adesi is fighting tooth and nail after all of that placing. It is going to be such a start. And we have one D'Alejandro is out in sector 1. He is off of that zone. It is such tight in the front. But behind there, we have Phoenix, who also was close behind. Adesi just snuck in there. And we have Kenneth and P5 Daniel. And I mean, there's about 5/10 separating all these racers in front. And D'Alejandro just chasing them from far behind. We have 2 packs going on. We have all of those from P1 to P5, all chasing each other, followed by Daniel all the way down to about P15. Everybody is so close behind on these first few turns.
Bit of a battle going on between P7 and P8 as well. Yeah, the driver we saw, D'Alejandro, going off. It looked like a very fiery crash to the start there, but luckily no flames, just a front wing.
That is so good that there is nothing. He is still going to be in this race, as it looks like Daniel, Ledge Magma, and Eric Kitty are 3 wide on this track, heading into the final turn. Are we going to see a little bit of damage here? Ooh, it looks like Eric Kitty took it a little bit early on that. He didn't want to fight with them, but in the weeds, Maddie is just fighting for it. Maddie passed by him because Eric Kitty had to take a little bit easy on that, but Ledge Magma and Daniel still ahead. You can see them side by side as they head to turn 1, and it looks like Daniel took a little bit outside. Ooh, there's a little bit of bump between Eric Kitty, and Eric Kitty once again, oh, but into weeds. Clipped the wheel of Maddie. He is spun out on turn 2. He looks like he sent it a little bit hard on that, but I mean, it just didn't pay out for him.
Yeah, they're gung-ho, aren't they? Elbows are out early in this midfield pack. It overtakes left, right, and center. 3 to 4 cars trying to take it into one corner. I have to tell you what, even though we've had a couple of go spinaroo, they're doing pretty good at the moment. They are eager to get on with this. This is fun.
They indeed are having a lot of fun out there, but also shoving their elbows out, saying, get out of my way. Eric Kitty went a little bit wide on that one, but it's okay. Engineer there was taking a little bit inside. He had to hit the brakes a little bit more so that he didn't clip Eric Kitty, but we now start to see 2 packs develop. We have P1 through P5. We have Crampy, Dark Soul, the Desi, Phoenix, and Kenneth all hanging out on that final stretch, heading into that final turn for lap 2. And then we have a second group. We have Maddie, Daniel, Ledge Magma, Eric Kitty, and Engineer all start to chase up, but it looks like somebody, they just couldn't make it through. It looks like it's Vesley on that close turn. He didn't make it through there.
No, he did not make it through. It appears to be turn 13. He's stuck on the track. Can't show you at the moment until we go down to D'Alejandro. They'll bring past that stricken car, but that'll bring out a full safety car, and it is. So has that been an early pit stop for the Ferrari? Yes. Looks like Kenneth's going to take advantage of the situation. Car's been removed off track very quickly. The marshals are sharp already this season. And our first safety car.
It is indeed, and in that safety car, we did see a little bit of damage between Indoweeds and CJ Bari, both headed into the pits, while Dellum, who's the teammate of CJ Bari, they just kind of went through it. But we are starting to see the safety car. We're seeing a few changes on the front wings for Indoweeds and, in Bari. But D'Alejandro is now going to have his time to catch up. This is going to be what pays off for D'Alejandro if that safety car stays out for as long as he wants it to. As the 2 packs that were developing earlier meet up once again, we're starting to see a lot of kind of strategy come out. A lot of drivers still staying on the track, still happy with their tire choice. We see P1 through P4 on those softs, and then we start to see all of the mediums come out from P5 all the way down to P15. Everybody's trying to rock those mediums, see how far they can get it, because the front of the pack is going to have to pit early. The mediums are going to stay out a little bit longer, and then they're going to try to see if they can keep it all the way out there.
And Ledge Magma in P5 is your biggest gainer on the medium tires, getting 3 positions. You can see the gainers and losers. Engineer, well, Jeff is in control of that car. P9, gaining 7 positions. Kenneth, unfortunately, has dropped 6. You see CJ Barry's also dropped 7 positions. Leandro, and unfortunately, Bessie wasn't the safety car.
Which was quite unfortunate. He did have to end it on the track because he spun out a little bit too hard. And speaking of spinning out, Into Weeds, who was fighting with CJ Barry out of those pits, Into Weeds actually spun out as well. So he's going to be fighting to catch up as these drivers, it looks like nobody's going, maybe one into the pits. It looks like we have one in the pits. Daniel, who was rocking up there in about P6 area, he decided to go for the pits. We're going to try to see if he's going to maybe swap out of those softs, maybe repair a little bit of damage if he has any, but potentially go over those mediums as we see the mediums go on.
Front wing change. The Dan man. And, well, the drivers didn't get that little memo that was sending out earlier about saying that turning your telemetry on. Perhaps they can do it. I'm not sure if they were allowed or not, but I'm not seeing much telemetry information on their car details, which means we won't get too much of that new overlay graphic that will show you a battle between a couple of drivers and the tire wear that they have.
And that is indeed, Daniel comes out with that front wing change. It's going to slow him down a little bit, but he's going to be fighting back out of P14. He's going to be catching up to the pack as D'Alejandro is still about half a lap behind the pack, who's riding that safety car, as it looks like CJ Barry spun out a little bit there at the back through that turn. Daniel's going to pass him under that safety car. But man, it's going to be such a tight. We're still seeing a few mistakes come out from these drivers, but they are still fighting tooth and nail to get to the pack, make up that time, and still try to come out and show that they are the best driver. But up front, we're starting to see Crampy, Dark Soul, and Nadezi. We're seeing a lot of competition coming out from these drivers, as well as Phoenix right behind in P4. These drivers were all fighting in that qualifying round to get to that pole position. And right now, it seems like Crampy and Dark Soul and Nadezi are all benefiting from it right now under the safety car.
I was wondering if the safety car call would be in this lap, but it's not. They've just passed the trigger point, or at least they passed the trigger point in 2020, 2021. Is that going to say, no, guys, you've got to go for another lap? That will allow everybody to bunch up, as Alejandro is now just going to be catching the back of this. On the hard tires as well, electing to go, no doubt, to the end of this race. Well, obviously, a lot of the other drivers will have the box again. Pit stop strategies out there, guys. Please let us know on Twitch what you would think would be the ultimate. They're going to do a 2-stop or perhaps a 3-stop. We'll have to think about it on the safety car.
It does indeed look like D'Alejandro is finally catching up, but all of these drivers are just waiting for that safety car to get out of the way so they can start racing again. It is still in place. Vesely, unfortunately, had to retire early due to spinning out in that last turn in P13. But all of these drivers, D'Alejandro is still riding in the back. He's still fighting to get into it before that safety car goes away. He is still looking to catch up. As he does, he catches the train. Now it's just waiting for that safety car to head in.
Gentlemen, one thing to keep note is I think CJ Barry, he has wing damage. That's why he's been spinning so much. I saw his car back into a wall around turn 6. I think that's where he spun.
Okay, yeah. Drivers had some of the drivers didn't turn the telemetry on, so I can't see the specific details of their damage. Can't see if CJ does have at least cosmetically. I don't see it. If it does, it's very minimal. I had that fixed actually. It did box.
And what we watched, what was happening earlier is it looks like, and by the way, that was Evo, the FIA for this race. A lovely man coming in, letting us know what's going on the track. But Dark Soul actually dropped from P2 to about P7. It looks like he had a little bit of a slip. He dropped a few places, but he's going to be waiting for that safety car to go so that he can catch back up to where he was in P2 before that slip. And it looks like the safety car is in.
Dropping under a safety car is not a place you want to do it, is it? Do you? After obviously a pretty impressive qualifying position, starting at P1, now down to P6. Now, Crappy's going to have the pressure from Medici and Phoenix to see who can handle the first safety car restart of the season.
Crampy is letting that safety car get ahead of him because all of these cars cannot pass. We do see CJ Barry once again taking a spin. Ledge Magma also spun towards that last ramp. As here we go, Crampy is off and away with the Desi close behind. Phoenix following, and Maddie in P4 is also chasing Ari Kitty. There's a little bit of a gap between the two of them, but we're seeing CJ Barry go into the pits as they make their way around T1. It's a smooth transition for just about everybody. Ari Kitty lost out to Dark Soul, who stole his way through that turn, and we're seeing another yellow flag come out.
It's yeah, Kitty off into the gravel. So Kitty, as we just saw, Dark Soul getting past there, trying to regain his position. They dropped under the safety car, so he's got that position up to P5 now. But yeah, Kitty not, you know, those gonna get a few stones out of that Red Bull right now. The nerves are playing, aren't they? It looks like Ferrari, and that's Engineer losing it out of one of the corners as well. I think it's out at turn 8. Oh, he's gone completely. He's been it.
Ooh.
So, yep.
That is going to hurt. He spun out into the wall and just took out the car. He is now DNF'd along with CJ Barry and Vesely. CJ Barry struggling a little bit with those front wings. He just couldn't. Oh, as it looks like Crampy in P1 spun on that turn 13. He has dropped down to 5 as Kyle Heedman also DNFs. What a race. That T13 is looking for a struggle for a lot of these drivers.
Yeah, the pressure, isn't it, from Crampy after leading this race has had a bit of a moment. And there you go. So it's going to be an opportunity for a safety car. Again, our second one of the season, which means now pit stops available thick and fast. They're all jumping in.
They are all jumping in. A few of these drivers will have to repair a few damage going on as Daniel picks up, and we're seeing a few penalties come out for speeding in the pit lane. But a lot of these drivers are going to be changing up all of their tires. We see the hard start to come out for a Desi. We see Ledge Magma. No, actually, Ledge Magma is going for those mediums. Phoenix is going for the hards as well as Crampy and Daniel. So everybody who was in that P1, P5 position before the first safety car has decided for this second one, it's time to change the tires. It's time to go to the hards, push this as far as they can because they could make it to the end of the lap, end of the race on these hards. But we still see Kenneth, Delum, Ledge Magma, all still on the mediums. They're the only ones who are staying out, taking those positions onto that safety car, holding onto their tires and deciding, you know what? If we're going to pit, it's going to be later. The safety car is a free pit for most of these racers, but they decided not to. We're going to see if that bites them later on in the race.
Just Delum at the moment and Ledge Magma are the only two drivers that are yet to box. I tell you what, Delum, I think it's Delum, there in P2. Well, he started in P14. So he's trying to take advantage of that safety car. But yes, he's going to have to get rid of those mediums somewhere along the line as we're looking like Phoenix made a little bit of a spin under the nerves of the safety car. And he's dropping back a couple of positions with the new fresh tires that he has on the hards. It's interesting to see what Matt in P5 is elected to go to the softs. I don't think there's a chance that he's going to make them go to the end of the race. So is it looking for a two-stop pit strategy?
He is indeed, as a few of these drivers are starting to pick up penalties as well. Delum in P2 is on 10 seconds of penalties. So I am imagining that he's going to try to ride those mediums as long as possible because he's going to have to take those penalties at some point. And that's going to kind of bite him. So staying out as long as possible, pushing as hard as he can, trying to make that gap between him and Ledge Magma in P3, trying to widen that up as much as possible. As soon as the safety car is gone, it's going to be a strategy right now.
And a lot of those penalties, a few of them have been from collisions under the safety car, the second safety car we're having now, and a few of them for Early boys speeding the pit lane. 80 kilometers an hour, guys. Speed limit. Believe it or not, no corner cutting penalties just yet. Touch wood. Although I do see a couple of those warnings starting to come down the drivers, so a few 3 seconds might be tallied up later on. We have our Stewart there. Evo, any feedback at the moment under the second safety car? What's going to be going on?
I got some feedback from before the safety car. On lap 5, it was one of the Haas cars that caused the safety car. They DNF'd the Alpine of Engineer. But yeah, other than that, most of the collisions have been just normal spins.
You go, CJ's in the chat there. So, yeah, well, there's two of those hazards. It's Daniel or Inderweed, so it could have been one of those drivers. Yeah, CJ, you had a terrible race today. It is unfortunate. Obviously, you're going to be bouncing back for the next race. Well, guess what, mate? You've got no points to lose, no points to gain. And everybody is 0 on the points, so I'd have to say if there's one race that you do want to DNF in the season, probably would be the first one. Certainly don't want to be DNFing the last race of the season if you're battling for a championship.
Indeed. Keep in mind, this first round is where a lot of the drivers are going to be, one, showing that they have the speed on the track to say that, hey, I'm the fastest driver out there. But also, for those who are in the back of the pack, as well as those who DNF, it's time to decide, are they going to practice more? Are they satisfied with their performance so far? Can they watch the footage back and see what their teams, how fast and how far they can push the car, see what improvements can be made, and see just what exactly they can as all the drivers make their way safely through turn 13. That is the one to watch out for. If you're those drivers on the track, I'd probably watch out for that one first of all. Hitting that turn 13 seems to be a struggle for a lot of the drivers.
It's probably very dusty out there. They do spray, believe it or not, a chemical around the track as well as they do in Abu Dhabi. They've obviously got so much money. Safety car's in the pit lane. And that's a very late call, but here we are, game on. Ledge is going to have a very good jump here on. Look at this. A lot of drivers having a very good jump into turn 1. This is madness.
They are all fighting indeed for their position, as it looks like they all make it safely through turn 1 and turn 2. Oh, it actually looks like Dellum took another spin out there on turn 2. Commentator Curse throwing that out very quickly. And that is going to bite him with those 10 seconds penalties. He was in P2, dropped all the way to P12 now, and he's going to be kicking himself because that is not what he wanted, especially with those penalties. He was looking to widen the gap between himself and Ledge Magma. But now, Ledge Magma only has to worry about overtaking Kenneth for that P1 position.
I'm just trying to keep an eye on all these battles that are occurring. Remember, no DRS enabled. In fact, these drivers haven't had too many of those DRS is enabled. Haas is back in the wars again. There's Phoenix trying to bring it to the Haas driver of Daniel. As there's that nice little squabble trying to regain those positions on the hard tires as well versus the also the hard tires. I tell you what, Matty has to try to pounce. I'm going to go up to him, I believe, in P3. He's got the soft tires, and he needs to take advantage of them very, very quickly. And here it is with his teammate. Team orders at play. I don't know. Alfatori.
And he is off and away around that final turn. He takes it a little bit wide, which is going to bite him a little bit. But Ledge Magma, once again, they are fighting. So I'm not sure if there were team orders going on there. Ledge Magma takes that P2 back as Dark Soul is actually fighting side by side with Ledge Magma as they head to this turn 1. It looks like he takes the inside. Dark Soul, ooh, it's back and forth between these two as it looks like Ledge Magma was a little bit too close and spun out in that turn 2.
It is. It looks like, I tell you what, and there's another retirement from somebody in the wall. I was going to say, Dark Soul was trying to get a 2-for-1 special early under the safety car restart, and it looked like maybe if there was team orders at play, does that compromise them? We've seen that in the real F1. Dark Souls had to sit back behind AlphaTauri. And yes, unfortunately, Ledge Magna, the other one's gone a little bit into the sand. Got to be playing sandcastles around here, my friend, because there's just too much sand. You ought to be on the tarmac as it's slowing down right now. What appears to be a local yellow. Nice game on.
Does indeed. It was just temporary as Alejandro is making his way up with his teammate. But indeed, we saw from that team, the team orders between Maddie and Ledge, they were kind of handing that position off, but Ledge Magma against Dark Soul went a little bit hard, and unfortunately that cost him. He's now dropped from P2, P3 down to P8, where now he's got to fight behind Phoenix for that P7 position and try to get back up to his teammate, who is still trying to catch Kenneth, who is 2 seconds ahead. And he's looking very solid. He had a solid start off of that safety car and has, for the most part, avoided all of the other drama and all of the battles going on around behind.
He's got to avoid a very angry, fast McLaren, who's to get the DRS toe down here on the back straight. Yes, he is. And look at that advantage here he's going to have. And remember, that's medium versus softs, although the AlphaTauri should stick around the corners, but for how long?
Oh, it's Dark Soul. Went for the inside, but Maddie on the outside. He looks like he is off and away, and that is going to cost Dark Soul, who's spun out there. He is going to be not too happy at all with that because he's got to fight his way back. Now, Dark Soul and Ledge Magma are once again close behind as Ledge Magma takes away from Phoenix, and now he's behind Dark Soul again. This battle has once again returned on track. These two are fighting it out tooth and nail.
Their nerves, aren't they? The nerves are absolutely pumping through their veins, the adrenaline. Because that's why we're seeing such wheel-to-wheel action. That's why we're seeing a few little spinneroos that are occurring on track. As a Desi now looking to challenge his teammate. So we don't want to see a repeat of the team orders at play from the AlphaTauri because we know what happened there before. They backed off, if they did back off a little bit. Otherwise, they compromised it because you only have one of them in P2. The other one will back down to P7. Let's see if Adesi and Crampy can work together as teammates.
Desi does pick up that DRS. He passes right by him, slots right in ahead of him. As Maddie ahead is now going to be their target. But Crampy, it's going to be an interesting thing to watch. If Crampy, who is still fighting behind a Desi, he's now going to be his behind man, and he's going to pick up the DRS. It is now time to watch what play they're going to make on Maddie, who lost his defense and lost his teammate from Ledge Magma, who dropped from P2 to P7. These team orders from the Alfa Romeo team have been quite excellent in that pass, as Desi is fighting close behind Maddie. And back in P9, we have Phoenix, who once again has dropped a little bit further. He's trying to still make up those times from where he was earlier in qualifying.
And the Red Bull getting past up into P8. The Ledge Mammoth, remember, he has not boxed. He's on the same tires he started the race with, so no doubt those tires are not going to stick to the road like they did earlier. He's going to be under pressure from the Red Bull. That's it. I see what, it is a good strategy you mentioned there before from the Alfa Romeos, because we know Matty can't make those soft tires go to the end. If he does, they're going to be struggling. And Kenneth as well is going to be very not a happy camper. Oh, there's a spin from Kitty. Well, ooh, there's a big spin. He's off. And
he is out.
Commentator cursing him a bit of thick and fast. There's a double collision here. The Williams. What if he was involved in that accident as well? The Williams gets to live to see another day. There's Alejandro. No front wing, and that means a box early there. Pit stop from Matty. You said those tires weren't going to go to the end. Well, he's getting rid of them right now.
We have a third safety car. Oh my goodness. And keep in mind, these drivers have, I mean, for the first top three, we have one stop, but everybody else down behind there is starting to make a lot more stops. We're going to see another potential tire change coming out. I mean, and it does look like indeed they swapped off those softs. Matty swapped them out for the hards. He can push those to the end of the race because, I mean, he's going to have to. The softs aren't going to make him go any bit faster now as we go through. But we're seeing Alejandro with a front wing change as everybody else is hanging out in the pits. But Kenneth, once again, he's P1 in behind that safety car. He's pretty happy right now. He's avoiding all the drama behind.
I wonder if that's worked out perfectly for those guys, because it is must have. Sorry, I was focusing on the accident of seeing those two cars. Well, the one car, Bennett, the Williams obviously get involved in that one. So, Kitty, yeah, had the front runners just past the safety car entrance, some of the pit lane entrance. Going to compromise them because Kenneth really wants to get rid of those tires right now, but they are bunched up. That's going to obviously
I
help out.
can.
I think Matty's done a fantastic strategy. He's going to go back, in and out, cheap pit stop, come back out in P5, and he's got the freshest boots in the top runners.
I can confirm that D'Alejandro spun himself. He wasn't involved with the Red Bull collision.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because, I mean, I was on board Arkady, and then all of a sudden I saw the Williams of Alejandro come in there somewhere, so... All right.
So, once again, the hardest part of this track for all of the racers so far seems to be that turn 13. We're seeing Alejandro spin out quite a few times in that tier 13, but we also had Ari Kitty. We had a few other drivers also take a little bit of a spin there, and because the wall is so close, they put damage on their car. They have to go into the pits early, and then it happens once again. Pit again. They're slowly losing time. D'Alejandro once again has to make up about half a lap to catch up to the pack. This man has had an uphill battle the entire race, every single time coming back into the pack under that safety car. But on the opposite end, Kenneth, under 2 safety cars, has been rocking that P1, and he has got to be happy about that, as all the other drivers minus D'Alejandro are packing up and bunching up again, P1 to P9 behind that safety car.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, mate. Should we make it even worse for D'Alejandro? I don't know if we should tell him, but he's boxed. See, oh no, my apologies. I thought I was going to say he was mediums, and would have to box again for another tire compound. He did have those hard tires for his second stink. He's done 3 pit stops already. But I'll tell you what, good on him, hanging in there, because mate, he's got points. And our Stuart, Mr. Evo down there. Mate, yeah, you probably need to get a track walk down and find out what's going on in turn 13.
What we need is a driver's briefing next race.
Indeed, that is always going to pay off. But D'Alejandro finally caught up to the pack, and we're going to hopefully see Kenneth once again take out from behind that safety car. No news on if the safety car is coming in or not, but I imagine it's got to be pretty soon. But once again, we have Kenneth in P1, Desi in P2, and Crampy in P3. These drivers, it's a little bit unexpected from Kenneth. He's made up 4 places from where he was in qualifying. But Desi is now 2 places up. Crampy is dropped from P2 to P3. Daniel has made up 3 places, taken P4. Maddie came up 5 places for a P5. Dark Soul is unfortunately dropped 5 down to P6. Phoenix in P7. We have Ledge Magma in P8. Into Weeds in P9 and D'Alejandro in P10. I mean, as long as you're still in the race, I'd be pretty excited, but I'd definitely watch out for turn 13. Seems to where a lot of that dust is kind of kicking up. We're seeing a lot of things spin out, but the safety car's in. Kenneth, once again, is off and away. Not far behind is a Desi, Crampy, and Daniel. They're going to be chasing him into that first turn as Kenneth takes the middle, sneaks through that inside. Crampy is right behind it, Desi, as they head into that turn 2, but Kenneth, once again, is off and away. There's not too much going on. It seems to be a lot of these drivers who are still in seem to have the right idea. They definitely watched all the other ones take a little bit of a spin, and they're playing it a little bit safer than they normally would at the start of this race.
If the guys aren't playing it too safe at the moment is Phoenix and Dark Salt, the P6 and P7 on the medium and hard tires. And there's that train that's forming. You can even see Ledge Magnus catching up to this one. The Weeds with soft tires try to take advantage of that. So I think the drivers are a bit cautious. Certainly, once we've had 2 safety cars already, 3 safety cars, my apologies. So yeah, they've seen a lot of their drivers out there, a lot of their peers bin it this evening. They've had 6 retirements. They don't want to be another one, do they?
They do not, as they're heading towards turn 13, the cursed turn, as we now call it, as Phoenix is still trying to get by, but Desi is right behind Kenneth. Kenneth, who was 2 seconds before the safety car, now has to deal with the Desi's about 2/10 behind as they make their way to this final turn. It looks like they both get a good line through there, but Desi is potentially going to pick up DRS through there. He's not this time around, but keep in mind, he's still within that window for the next time that it opens up. I mean, he's got to keep in mind that Cramp is also right behind him.
3-way battle going into that first turn, and somewhere along the line, that's going to hurt for these drivers at the back here. They do get through there. Bit of tangling, the Haas driver in the walls again. So who's come out on
There-
that one? Yeah, both the teammates as well for the AlphaTauris. And there's the AlphaTauri once again on the McLaren. We've seen this earlier, haven't we? They're back at it.
Once again, these drivers went 3 wide into that first turn. There was a little bit of bouncing and a little bit of bumper cars going on, but Dark Soul comes away probably with the best result that he wanted. But Ledge Magma, who was a little bit behind before, is now a little bit happier in P6, but he's got to fight once again with Dark Soul, who probably is going to be a little bit mad at because
He's
earlier...
overtake for the lead of this race between Kenneth. There's a new camera angle we've never seen before as we're on board with Hadizi. Not that one we want to see right now, but as Kenneth is trying to defend for his life, but you can see the tyres are not gripping the way they are. 13 laps on them almost now. Still, with quite a bit of laps to go because we're just over the halfway point. Hadizi knows he's going to it's his time coming up soon. Also, remember bringing Phoenix into play now, so they've got to get past them, the Alfa Romeos.
And this is where that team strategy from Adesi and Crampy earlier, keep in mind Adesi passed Crampy for that P2 position, and he has kept it solidly. Kenneth, once again, is back in P1. He's pretty happy about that one, but Adesi, not too far behind, is going to be reminding him, hey, brother, I'm right behind you. I passed you once before. I can do it again.
And now with the DRS activated, now he's going to get that nice slipstream and that little letterbox. A little bit more pace. Not going to do it in turn 4, but think about perhaps turn 10, especially these little S's. Got to get on with it once again because Phoenix is now coming into play for Williams. That's going to put Crampy at risk. So team is on the radio right now saying, come on, Adizi, if you do not get this overtake done, then perhaps let your teammate through, because they don't want to be losing any crucial points right now. This should be a nice run from Adizi with the DRS activation. You can see Kenneth is going to try to be defensive as possible.
And he is playing it defensive, but Adesi has made up time as they head through that DRS zone. That DRS is definitely paying off for him, but he's trying to stick it as close as he can. He's keeping that time behind, but Phoenix is riding the bumper of Crampy right behind that. So we have 2 battles going on, one for P1, one for P3, as Phoenix is going to be catching up to Crampy on this final turn. He tries to send it, but he holds off a little bit. Oh! Yes. A little bit of a swerve there, but he's going to be able to potentially catch up that DRS. He was still behind in that DRS zone, so he's going to try to make up that time once again through the DRS zone, but he's going to be regretting it a little bit. Desi, unfortunately, didn't pick up a position on Kenneth through that straightaway DRS zone, but we're heading into another one, so Desi potentially here could have a clean cut away from him as Kenneth is making a little bit of a defense.
Kenneth's doing a solid job considering his tires must be falling off the cliff right now. Frustrating Adizi, frustrating Crampy, and even Phoenix. Phoenix has managed to catch up the back of them after losing a bit of time. Got a bit of a 2-second down the road there from the McLaren, so he was lucky to get away with that one. But yeah, I'll tell you what, Kenneth parking that Ferrari in all the right places. It's frustrating the other Alfa Romeos.
Kenneth indeed around that hairpin turn, but Adesi right behind him is going to open up for DRS. He is going to be fighting on this straightaway, catching up behind him as much as he can, but he's not going to want to compromise his line as we do have a yellow flag through Sector 2. It doesn't look like it was too long, and Desi did not pick up enough on Kenneth. He's about 1/10 behind. He is seeing that man's rear bumper, and he's saying, I want that P1. It's going to be mine. But Kenneth, once again, has the defense of the century, keeping Adesi and his teammate Crampy behind him. This man has the defense of the ages.
How long can he do it? Because every one of those laps that click over equals more tire wear. And that's, yeah, definitely frustrating. I mean, here we go. Another opportunity to try to send it around the outside. This is where I think Adesi can try to make the move work, knowing he has a better tire. Once again, Ferrari is shutting the door on this one, saying, not on my watch, my friend. But Phoenix does. Phoenix does. Adesi's dropped actually a couple of places there.
There was a little bit of contact between Adesi and Kenneth, and it looks like Kenneth came out on that on top, but Crampy is still right behind him. So now from the Alfa Romeo, we're going to have a little bit of a teammate change, as Desi now has to fight off Phoenix, but Phoenix is right behind Crampy. Crampy is now going to be able to show the speed that he has because he is still on. I mean, he's a little bit younger tires than than Kenneth, who's still rocking those 15 lap old mediums. He's making those tires do work. Crampy on 11 lap old hards. I mean, we could see potentially a swap between these two if Crampy or Desi decide to swap up to softs. They could make these tires go all the way, but I'm imagining they want to go a little bit faster so they can get around Kenneth, who is going to have to pit.
Yeah, I think Kenneth right now would be praying for another safety car. We've had a few of them already. Will we get a fourth safety car? I believe we had 3, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure if that is the limit. Was the limit last season's kid? I'm not sure about this one yet. Phoenix is going to try to get past Crampy. He's got the better tire. He's got to take advantage of this right now. Crampy needs to overtake him.
And Crampy is following closely behind Kenneth. He is once again doing the same move that Desi did, going around that outside. It looks like Crampy holds the line, a little bit of contact, but he's going to steal the inside for the next one. Cut that off for Kenneth, and it looks like he has solidified that P1. But Kenneth is still right behind this man, sends it through the inside, and oh my gosh, he stole it away. A little bit of contact as Crampy drops down behind Phoenix, who is waiting for some mistake to happen. And Crampy and Desi from the Alfa Romeos are going to have to make up that time again.
Kenneth has that comment. He's got double, triple bolts on that position, hasn't he? Because he's not yielding it. He did a little bit. He lost it for only a corner, and is back in the lead of this again. Phoenix now has to think about doing this all over again to try to get an overtake. And I guess we'll watch this from on board Crampy. See this action.
And Phoenix now is going to be fighting against Kenneth, but also defending against Crampy, who did not lose out too much time around that turn. But Kenneth just sent it so well. He solidified that position exactly where he wanted to and caused Crampy to lose a place. Phoenix easily stuck it where he wanted it to, snuck around to that P2 as they make their way to the DRS zone. Once again, Kenneth is trying to fight off DRS as they make their way through the pits. They are just right beside it. Oh, and it looks like Phoenix steals it, but is Kenneth going to take the inside? He does. But Phoenix is going to take the inside of the next one, and Kenneth is behind. But we've seen Kenneth here before steal this position away on the DRS. He's going to get it. He gets it as Phoenix is now the one defending. Oh, no! When Kenneth spun out, he sent it a little bit too hard and just could not keep it. He's dropped down to P5 as Dark Soul, who was about a second or two behind, now sneaks in and takes that P4. So we've seen a changing of the guard. Phoenix in P1, and Desi and Crampy from the Alfa Romeos P2 and P3. And Desi is right behind Phoenix. He is fighting it as they head towards this hairpin around. There we go. And here we have another DRS zone. So Desi is going to try to pick it up on Phoenix.
I wouldn't want to be in that driver's debriefing room later on, isn't it? Because there's going to be some talks. There's front wing damage, I believe, happened to Crampy, is who was the one. We had the steward in the box with us this evening. What did you think of that move?
These guys have been pretty push and shove all race. I have been pressing my now hotkeyed clip button a few times now this race. So me and the other FIA members are going to be pretty busy.
FIA has a lot to do after this is completed. Dark Soul takes his way past Crampy as they head through that final turn.
Kenneth gets reared by Maddie.
Oh, yes. That's going to bring, yeah, he's going to be boxing.
That's another
actually.
clip.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to remember too that, where is it? Crampy's got the damage and he's boxing because that end plate's cost him that position. So now the battle is on the top of the timesheets with Desi and Phoenix. Kenneth, well, I was going to say, was he going to try to push those tires to the end of the race while he's boxing right now? Might have had a little bit of damage from that instant. Not quite sure. Is the side plate damage and the rear wing damage occurring in this, or you guys got it reduced?
Can you say that again?
The damage model at the moment, is it just the front wing, or is you doing the full?
All right, so we are running simulation damage with a standard damage rate.
Okay, so I'm wondering, does that mean side pod damage, floor damage?
Yes. We do. So that's the simulation's the full damage model. So if you get smacked in the side, you'll get side damage or floor, rear wing damage.
And
I
that
was
is
hoping
gonna
that was going to be a deterrent for these guys to stop being so aggressive, but it hasn't been the case.
The drivers,
We
mate. It doesn't matter what you can do. They're going to fight tooth and nail.
We indeed have been seeing elbows out racing, non-stop battles. Desi did take that P1 away from Phoenix as we watched a little bit of a fun time going on between Manny and Kenneth. Kenneth is making his way back up to P5. He is not going to be too happy because he's about 23 seconds behind Ledge Magma, and Ledge Magma is 2 seconds behind Dark Salt. So we've seen a big toss-up between all of these standings as Desi's still rocking those 15-lap old hards. He is not going to have too much of a time to battle between Phoenix, who's still on a little bit younger mediums, but he's 3 seconds behind, so no DRS as they head into the DRS zone, making their way around turn 4. But Desi's going to be pretty happy about where he is right now, isn't he?
Well, he should be because he's 128.4 last lap. Everybody else in the 30s plus. So that sort of pace is going to build a nice gap up. Crappy now, after fixing that damage, is on a rampage, and guess what? It's going to be round 2 because he's got one driver that he's sick of seeing up ahead of him. That's Kenneth, P5 and P6.
And once again, Kenneth knows Crampy's behind him. He's going to be seeing if he can make a defense. They both stick to the inside. Crampy is deciding not to send it quite there, but they do have to make it through the S's to that DRS zone. Crampy, who is still within time behind Kenneth for that DRS, is probably going to be thinking, you know what, my chance isn't here just yet. I'm going to let him have it, let him think that he has it. But Kenneth is going to be preparing that Iron Curtain defense that he's been showing us for the entire race. This man was in P1 and defended against 3 separate racers. As Crampy picks up that DRS, he's going to be able to catch him. He's still not quite fast enough. He picks up about 3/10 on Kenneth, but they're making their way towards the cursed turn 13 before they hit the next straightaway. I think Kenneth is still putting on a good show as Crampy just can't catch up to him.
And this time around, Kenneth has the better tire. So he's going to take advantage of that. Definitely take those tires to the end. The softs going to be good. Crappy, obviously, with some fresh boots too. But mediums versus soft, we know the softs have a little bit more grip. And the one person you don't want to have with good tire is Mr. Defense.
As Crampy picks up the DRS, he's going to go around, but Kenneth is he's right beside him. He's going to sneak that inside. He sends it a little bit harder, and Crampy just has to pull off and let Kenneth once again, who he passed in the DRS zone, go away, as Kenneth picks up the DRS there as well, because going through that zone, he was behind. This could be the man's defensive strategy. Let him pass for that turn, pick up the DRS, and sneak it through on the next one, as Crampy once again is behind.
Kenneth has to be careful too. A couple of warnings. He could be on the limit of a 3-second penalty right now. That'll hurt him big time. So he's got to be thinking about that, as well as some of the other drivers of Phoenix and Dark, I believe, as well on the absolute bubble of penalty limit. So 2 warnings. One more will get a 3-second slap.
That is something that he definitely doesn't want to have happen, because Crampy especially is right behind him, Kenneth. Unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit hard to catch up to P4. He's 21 seconds behind Ledge Magma. But I'm imagining Alfa Romeo are going to be pretty happy with the results of this race. With Desi currently in first, Crampy in second and sixth, they're going to be taking away a chunk of the points in this round 1 of Season 2.
Which you want, isn't it? So, yeah, the man that started in P1, Dark Salt, is currently clawed his way back up into P3 after having a few little moments. Phoenix starting in P3, currently in P2. Isn't started in P4 yet in the lead of this race. Now building it even more of a gap up 6 seconds.
Once again, it looks like Crampy is being a little bit more careful, but Kenneth goes a little bit wide, and Crampy is just going to sneak it through. Mr. Defense on the softs. Unfortunately, around that turn 1 went a little bit hard, a little bit wide, giving Crampy in turn 2 the easy pass there. So Kenneth now is taking 6th. Crampy moves up to 5 and gains a little bit more points for his team. He's got to be happy with that.
A lag glitch at the moment as we're seeing Dark Salt make an overtake on Phoenix. Yes, it is. But clawing his way back up. 1 position behind where he started. Yes, I was going to say, Kenneth, obviously, after all, is human. He did make that error. That's the only time it seems that anybody's going to get past him. He makes a little bit of an error himself.
Indeed, it looks like now we have Phoenix Ledge Magma right in behind P2. We're going to see more of a battle come out here. Keep in mind, Ledge Magma has been watching Phoenix for a while. He's still picking up that DRS, so he is going to be watching these two fight for the P2, and potentially he could take it away as Phoenix through turn one looks like he gets it. And it looks like Dark Soul had a little bit of a clip with the tires there, but Phoenix solidified his position as Ledge Magma sneaks through. Oh my gosh! Ledge Magma just curved through these two drivers to take that P2 position. He's got to be pretty excited about that little move he put on there.
Man, it's a fantastic move, isn't it? It's bold and it's brave. It could have gone the other way. This time it's gone the correct way. Now up in the second step of the podium with just a handful of laps to go, but they're going to have to keep doing this. The DRS is almighty and powerful, and they're all within that DRS train. So expect to see this resuming for a few more laps.
Indeed, we're going to see P2 be the position to fight for. So it looks like the top of the podium with Desi is 8 seconds ahead. With those fastest laps, he has been putting the time on the clock and letting the other drivers know that he is the man with the speed. But Ledge Magma knows now that Dark Salt and Phoenix are not going to be letting him have that position so easily. These three drivers have been fighting tooth and nail to get anywhere close to the podium. And now 2 spots could be anybody's game as Ledge Magma now is taking his time away from Dark Salt, but they still do pick up the DRS. So Dark Salt could catch up a little bit, try to make a move maybe later down because they can still catch this DRS zone for that first straightaway.
We're also not aware about the actual damage because they haven't turned their telemetry on. So they could be nursing some side plate damage, some floorboard damage. But I'll tell you what, regardless of what they have, it's definitely on for that P2 position, as you mentioned.
Indeed, and once again, we have Phoenix just waiting for somebody to make a mistake. He's in P4 right now. He does not want to be there. He wants to be up on that podium for later. And it looks like Dark Salt is close behind Ledge Magma, who is having quite a good time. They're getting close to being outside of that DRS window, but they do pick it up, so they're going to catch it on the second DRS zone as Dark Salt opens up his rear wing. Phoenix does the same, and they are off and away trying to catch back up, but Ledge Magma every single time has been putting the speed out there and showing them that even without DRS, Ledge Magma can still hold them off without any problems.
Phoenix dropping out of that DRS range, so he's made a mistake somewhere. He's now 1.5 seconds down the road there from Dark Salt. So Dark Salt's probably the only one at the moment that really be challenging for that P2 position. Forget Adesi, he's way up the road. He's in Abu Dhabi right now, looking for his first victory of the season. Who's going to get that P2 spot? That's going to come down to an ultimate lap.
As it looks like Kenneth, unfortunately, heading towards that turn 3, did take a little bit of a spin in his DNF. The man with the iron defense, unfortunately, with himself. I'm not sure if our steward could enlighten us a little bit on what happened there. Spun out in his DNF.
You should see the car in a second. Bit to your... Oh, I was not bothered the weeds. I was about to say where the car is. Well, he's about to crash it where the other car was. So a very late crash. Man, I'm commentating, cursing these guys thick and fast. Every time I go on board, he's bidding it into the ball.
We have had 8 drivers DNF, and I'm pretty sure at least 5 of them have been taken out by turn 13. I'm not sure if Bahrain wants to take a little bit of a look there and see if that turn, maybe they did a little bit of something. Maybe somebody put a little bit of oil out on the track, makes these drivers spin a little bit more, but unfortunately took out both Kenneth and in the weeds.
On turn 13 as well. So local yellow because we can't have a safety car now. It's too late. And guess what? Alejandro, remember? Not having the best day. He's in P7. He's going to bring it home and get some crucial points. Good on him.
This man has had such an uphill battle, but just because he is keeping it safe as well as he can, keeping his line straight, he's not spun out in quite a while, which has been quite impressive and honestly a very good performance by this man. But just because he has not taken any significant damage, he has managed to wake his way into the points from where he was before in P10 and then further back in that second safety car and even in the first safety car all the way back in P16. This man has climbed his way up to 9 places to P7.
Final lap. Dark Salt's final opportunity to try and take it to ledge. This is the closest he's been in a few laps now. You can see the blinking light of death in the car up ahead from the AlphaTauri. That means he has no ERS left to deploy. And there it is. I was going to say, Crappy getting a late penalty. That's not going to hurt him too much. He's too far down to lose any positions. I don't think Dark's going to get this. We're going to have to go on board with him. And that's practically been dominating this late half of the race there, starting in P4, Mr. Dizzy.
And Desi has been rocking this so hard. He's on 21 lap old hards. He's had such a fight, and his teammate Crampy was definitely playing a good defense for him. But Kenneth, they passed him, and then Kenneth spun out towards the end in that turn 13 last lap. But Desi's making his way down that final straightaway with Ledge Bagman Dark Soul 8 to 9 seconds behind. This man has put the pedal to the metal and shown that he is going to be your round one finisher here in Thermal Formula One Racing for season 2. This man has taken away 25 points. He's got to be excited as Ledge Magma and Dark Soul come in P2, P3. And that is going to round out your podium at Desi in first, Ledge Magma in second, and Dark Soul in third. What an exciting race.
Absolutely thrilling. He's got to be absolutely stoked, isn't it? Avoided all those safety cars. Right strategy. Collisions at play. Remember, 8 drivers are now finishing this race as we're waiting for everybody else to cross the fireworks. I didn't even see one going off here in Bahrain, but they're certainly going off here. Thermal F1 Racing for the first race of the season. 8 to take away from Izzy. Solid performance. 22 lap tires at the end. He would definitely want to be kissing those tires because they've done the right job. Best race win of the season.
And that is going to be a beautiful performance by all of the racers out on track. Unfortunately, we did lose into weeds Kenneth, Airy Kitty, Dellum, Kyle Hedeman, Engineer, CJ Berry, and Vesley. Half of those drivers in that turn 13 spinning out. We're going to have to maybe take a look there. But your podium for today, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be an Alfa Romeo in top. Oh my gosh. Ledge Magma actually coming in P2 is your driver of the day as well. This is honestly probably a really exciting race that I've watched.
The Flying Finn, and there he is. Full calm and relaxed. Iceman. The new Iceman is in town. The new Iceman's on the top of the leaderboard. Sure, there'll be a few little steward reports there. Taking it away too from the other Swedish and German driver that are finishing up there. Phoenix is letting us know he had 87% tire wear towards the end there, which is 16 lap mediums, finishing 7.
And that is just not going to be fun at all. You definitely don't want to see too much tire wear going on, but Desi is your P1 finisher from the Alfa Romeo, followed by Ledge Magma, Dark Salt, rounding out your podium. Crampy in P4, Maddie, D'Alejandro, Daniel, Phoenix, all finishing on the track. Unfortunately, we did have Induweeds, Kenneth, Airy Kitty, Dellum, Kyle Heedman, and Engineer all coming outside, as well as those further below who finished out. We had, unfortunately, a whole lot taken out in that turn 13. I'm just honestly kind of surprised by how much carnage was going on.
It was great. Sorry, I can't scroll to those drivers at the bottom. For some reason, not letting me do that. So that may very well be what Boggs. But overall, I think it was pretty good. Boggs. Al Stewart, Mr. Evo, how do you think about this race? And you'll be very, very busy with these tickets coming in thick and fast.
Oh boy, we're gonna be busy. Shit. That was well, it was about as crazy as the first race could go. A lot of hard racing. Lots of
El-
hard racing.
Elbows out, face down. They are going at it. Evo, do you have any comments that potentially might come out in the next meeting that you have with all these drivers?
It's gonna be involve these nice arrows that when you're driving in this game, if a driver gets too close to you, it goes red. It's gonna remind people to use those to maybe avoid some of the things we saw today.
And the next track will be, sorry, I didn't have the calendar loaded up for you guys, but real quick.
Round 2 is Spain next Sunday. Same
Australia.
time, same bet channel.
All right, that's it.
Some would say it's
Yeah.
you remove the S.
Take out the S, and all you got is pain.
Oh, I just got that one. Good on you. Well, thank you guys, Aiden. It's good to be back in the commentary box with you again, and obviously for the first time we're doing this for Thermal F1 Racing. So if you guys aren't sick of our voices yet, well, plenty more races to go. You're going to be hearing us. Final words, Aiden, before we end the stream.
I mean, watch out, drivers. We are going to not want to see as much carnage as we did out on track. But once again, round one for Thermal Formula on Bahrain has finished. And we are excited to return next week for Spain in round two. We will see you then, folks.
That's a big hype.